Well, I'm back with part 2 of a video looking at whether external lenses work with the 17 Pro Max. And today we're checking out Sandmarc and ShiftCam. In the first video I covered reflex and moment along with a newer lens, and so be sure to check that one out too. What I'm doing is shooting a chart, and so it is kind of a techie video. But it's one of the better ways to see how lenses perform in a more controlled shooting situation. Although note, this is not a scientific test. First up, ShiftCam. Now if you own ShiftCam lenses prior to their most recent releases, which is what a lot of people do, myself included, they do include an adapter that you have to use on those older lenses. It adapts the M12 to S mount, and I guess the previous one was called M12, I didn't know that. So they sent this with the case, simple to put on, and then that way the older lenses do work with the new S mount, because the new system is a lot better, by the way. Very important if you have older ShiftCam lenses. All right, first up is the ShiftCam. This is their telephoto. That was on the 24mm, now we'll punch in on the virtual 48. Now the focus peaking looked pretty good, actually really good on the 24. On the 48 here, it doesn't. The center looks good, the edges fall off. But it still looks okay to my eye on set. We'll see how it looks in post. Okay, so I've moved the camera a little closer and I'm now using the ShiftCam wide angle, which is a 16mm. And this one looks sharp to my eye. The focus peaking is all very crisp. Now I'll punch in on the 48mm just for kicks. You probably wouldn't do it, but I like to see how they perform. Now on the 48mm, the 2x virtual, it looks pretty good. Again, you really wouldn't do it, but it looks like the lens itself is holding. And now the ShiftCam 1.33x anamorphic. On the 24mm, the main camera. And it looks good. I'm not surprised. Most of these lenses do work pretty well on the main camera. This lens does exhibit a fair amount of distortion, but most mobile anamorphics do, and it does look sharp. Now we'll take a look at the 48mm. I like punching in on the 48 because that way you lose the distortion and you can also get more shallow depth of field if you're close to a subject. So the 48mm here looks pretty good too. I'm looking at the focus peaking and it looks solid across the entire chart. So I think it works pretty well, which is good to see. Alright, so I did a test with the ShiftCam 240mm in a previous video, and it worked on my 16 Pro Max. But I didn't have the 17 Pro Max case at that time. So now I've got it, and we'll test it out right here. You can use it on the 4x, and it looks good. It looks like it's working totally fine. You can also use it on the 8x. Now I do think on the 4x it's a little bit sharper, but in the end, that's pixel peeping. In the real world, I think you can use it on either or. Future Blake here. When I got in post, the 8x was softer than I originally thought while shooting. So I'd probably stick to the 4x, although the 8x is passable, just not as good. And the nice thing about this lens, and it's very similar to the reflex lens, is it's small and portable, and it's easy to use with autofocus. And the main thing to remember is it is designed for the telephoto. It does not work on the 24mm. If you want to put a long lens like that on the main sensor, you need to use the Sandmarc, the 10x Sandmarc, or other brands that make them as well. But it's good news, the ShiftCam 240mm does work with the 17 Pro Max. Okay, now we'll check out Sandmarc. I don't have a Sandmarc case yet, but fortunately, and this is a great thing about their lenses, it uses the 17mm mount. So I'm using a small rig case that has that mount on it. You could also use Reflex and other brands too that offer 17mm. And Sandmarc are very good lenses. I do recommend them routinely. but we'll see if they work with the 17 Pro Max, the brand new phone. First up is the telephoto. All right, and the Sandmarc telephoto looks good. Looks nice and sharp. And so now we'll punch in on the 48. And the 48mm looks good. I would say both these, the 24 and the 48, work fine. So I would show the wide angle from Sandmarc, but I actually don't have one. And so we'll go to the anamorphic now, and then I do have one more lens we'll test in just a minute. And now the Sandmarc 1.33 times anamorphic. And this looks good. Again, similar to ShiftCam, it's got quite a bit of distortion. That's not uncommon, but it does look sharp on the chart, which I do like to see. Now I'll push in on the 48 and see how that looks. All right, now the Sandmarc 1.33 on the 48mm punched in, and it looks good. I had to back the camera up just a little bit. It was slightly too close for minimum focus, I think. So yeah, the anamorphic does work on the 17 Pro Max. So we'll try out the Sandmarc 10 times on the iPhone 24mm, which is the 1 times. You can't put this lens on other lenses, or at least I wouldn't try it. It worked on my previous phone, my 16 Pro Max, but the focus is definitely finicky. We'll see how it works on the 17 here. Looking at the back of the iPhone monitor right now, it appears to be in focus, but the problem is the peaking doesn't work, focus peaking, using these bigger external lenses in the Blackmagic camera app. And so the app doesn't think it's in focus, but it does look like it's in focus to my eye, but it very well may not be, and so I'll confirm that in post-production. And they're not tack sharp, but they look okay. The main problem with that 10 times lens is hitting focus. If you hit it, it looks good, but it's really hard to do. And just as a quick comparison, here is that 10 times shooting a roof line, and then here is the ShiftCam 240mm shooting the same shot, and the ShiftCam is sharper. But the Sandmarc does look pretty good if you hit the focus, which I did there, but the Sandmarc is again sharper. Overall, I think the lenses perform well, especially on the main camera. The Sandmarc might be a little bit sharper, but the ShiftCam did well, especially the wide and the anamorphic. All those look good. And so I think it's safe to say that most of these brands do work with the iPhone 17 Pro, although your results may vary. Did you know I have a brand new movie out called Casey Makes a Mixtape? It's available right this moment on Amazon, Apple TV, YouTube Movies, and more. It's a completely independent film and partially shot on an iPhone, so definitely go check it out.